Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ashley Baxter. I'm the Leader of the Council and the Chairman of this Cabinet Committee. Welcome to the main meeting of Cabinet. I have alongside me to my left Deputy Leader and Vice Chairman, Councillor Paul Stokes, and I have to my right the Deputy Chief Executive, Richard Wiles. Welcome, gentlemen, and welcome members of Cabinet, members of staff and members of the Council. It's good to see our benches are packed, relatively speaking. So please ensure your mobile phones are switched to stun. I've not been notified of any fire alarm, but if there is a fire alarm, please exit the building either by the fire exit marked fire exit or by the way you came in through the other available doors. The assembly point is on the green in front of this building on St Peter's Hill. If you wish to ask a question or make a comment, please indicate by raising your hand. The meeting is being recorded as a live stream and will be available afterwards on the Public Eye website or via the SKDC YouTube channel. We can begin to make our way through today's agenda. Item 1, Public Open Forum. We have no members of the public that are in attendance or wish to ask any questions. Item 2, apologies for absence. We have an apology from Councillor Phil Knowles, and we have an apology for lateness from Councillor Rhys Baker. I don't know of any other apologies. There are no others. Disclosure of interests. Does anybody wish to disclose anything that is interesting? If you remember something that you're interested in later in the meeting, please let us know later at the point when it becomes relevant. Minutes of the previous meeting. The previous meeting was on Tuesday the 1st of April. This is agenda 4 and it's page 3 in your pack. Would anyone like to comment on the content, or better still confirm that these are a true and accurate record and propose such? Councillor Moran proposed and Councillor Cleaver has seconded. All those in favour of accepting them? That's all of us. Thank you. We come to matters referred to Cabinet by the Council or by overview scrutiny committees. And first and second on the agenda is Councillor Moran. Councillor Moran, would you like to talk to us about the decant policy, please?
Sorry, I got all buttons confused. Yes, thank you. This report seeks approval from Cabinet for the adoption of the decant policy, which was recommended by the Housing Overview and Scrutiny Committee meeting on the 20th of January 25. The term decant means moving a tenant temporarily for the purpose of carrying out repairs on their home. There are also permanent decants as well, depending on the state of the property, but this policy covers them all. The recommendation is that Cabinet approve the adoption of the decant policy, but also delegate authority to the Director of Housing and Projects to make minor alterations and amendments to the policy post-adoption as required by changes to regulations and expectations by the Regulator for Social Housing. The report is an extensive report, but it provides all the details of the new policy and explains the approach that will be followed when requiring tenants to be decanted from their homes. Improvement works and major repairs will normally be carried out whilst the tenant remains in their home. However, there will be certain situations, such as those when health and safety of the tenant would be at risk, or the works are extensive when works cannot be carried out with the tenant in the property. Where this is the case, the Council will arrange to move the tenant and their household, either permanently or temporarily. This policy shows the practical steps the Council will take to facilitate this process. Section 6 of the report provides details of the consultation that was undertaken with tenants. The tenants who responded to that consultation were supportive of the decant policy. And I'd look for your support on this, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moran. Do we have any comments or, other than I'm sure to welcome the policy? This is the first time we've had a decount policy, I understand, and many thanks to the Housing Committee Overview Security Committee who have already looked at the detail of this and brought it back, and I think you already thanked the officers, but thanks to the officers involved. So you're proposing that we accept this? Do I have a seconder? Thank you. And all those in favour, please? That's unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item 6, contract award for Warm Homes Social Housing Fund works. Again, this is Councillor Moran.
Yes, thank you. This report seeks approval to award a contract to Equans Building Limited for a programme of works to upgrade council-owned properties with energy efficiency and low carbon heating measures. This is an extension of considerable work that we've already done to quite a number of properties. The recommendation is that Cabinet approves the award of a contract to Equans Buildings Limited for a period of 3 years with an estimated value of 7.81 million for energy efficiency and low carbon heating measures in council-owned properties. This council submitted a formal bid in November 2024 for a £12 million project to be funded by 6 million from the Warm Homes Social Housing Fund and 6 million match funding from the council. The Department for Energy Security and Net Zero wrote to the council in February 25 confirming that due to the volume and scale of applications received, all successful applications had been subject to a scaling exercise. So the council's approved funding was 4.19 million to be match funded by 4.19 million of council funding. The total funding allocation of 8.38 million includes 573,000 of expected staff costs to deliver the project. So the balance of 7.810 million will be used to deliver the energy efficiency upgrades to approximately 273 properties. The council completed a 3-stage procurement process to identify the successful supplier and to ensure value for money. The council published a request for information to potential delivery partners. The council firstly received 27 RFIs which were reviewed and scored. This resulted in 4 potential delivery partners being shortlisted for interview. The scores from the 4 interviews are included in the table at paragraph 2.6. Equans were awarded a score of 90% compared with suppliers 2 and 3 who were awarded a score of 80% and supplier 4 who was awarded a score of 79%. As detailed in paragraphs 2.7 and 2.8, a value for money exercise was undertaken with the 3 frameworks identified as eligible for the contract to be awarded through. The EEM framework was selected as the preferred framework as it demonstrated better value for money. As a side note, as part of the grant offer from the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, they've requested revised project data as the offer was lower than the council had originally submitted a bid for. This information was submitted in March 25 and at this time the council is still awaiting the government department to issue the grant funding agreement, but we're not concerned that we'll get it. Just needs a box ticking really. So I'd welcome your support. Thank you.
Thank you. That certainly sounds like good news. It's improving our council stock, it's reducing bills for our residents, and it's improving the environment. A triple whammy, if you call it that. Do we have any questions from Cabinet members or other members of the council? If not, I'll look for a seconder. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. I beg your pardon, we've got a question from Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chair. 273 properties at that price, 7.8 million or whatever, so that's £27,000 roughly without doing the math exactly, per property, what are we getting for that £27,000 per property?
A fair question. Would you like to pick that up?
Can I ask Mark Rogers to answer that on my behalf, please?
Yeah. Would you mind, Mr. Rogers?
Yes, thank you for that. So the works will include solar PV, external wall insulation, and additional insulation, loft insulation, window, door, and other fabric upgrades. Basically, the work is identified in a retrofit assessment, pre-assessment, and then those works are delivered through the programme, and basically it's to bring the property up to EPC-C. So there will be varying specifications depending on the property and what works are required. So, for example, if a property is at EPC-E or lower, it will require more work than at EPC-D, etc. So it's a varying specification. The works also, the costs also cover the preliminary costs to the contractor, materials and add-on costs, plus, as Councillor Moran outlined, our internal costs as well, which are our staffing costs and on-costs, which add up to over £500,000.
Councillor Harrison?
There is a staff cost, yeah, but they were took off that because I was working that out at the 7.8 million. So the staff cost, I think you said £500,000 or something roughly for staff costs, Virginia, didn't you? Yeah. So it's 7.8 million that works roughly at that 27,800, I think it works out roughly. So most of the properties will be getting some form of solar panels or something like that. Is that right on that, sorry?
I'd need to come back to you with an exact breakdown of how the works are split, but yeah, there are definitely a high percentage of solar PV. There's also a very high percentage of air source heat pumps, and sometimes the combination of the two, which obviously makes it quite a high cost per property, but you need the two elements to bring it up to the EPC-C that you require through this programme.
That's great, brilliant, really like that, it's fantastic. Is there anywhere we'll be able to see that? Is there anywhere we can see that info?
I think at this stage, because the surveys haven't all been completed, what I can provide you with is an outline of the expectations, and then through the reporting that we're going to bring to further committees, we can provide more detail on the actuals.
Thank you for your questions and your answers. You're right, £27,000 per household or per property does sound like a lot of money. However, we have been through a rigorous procurement process with 27 bidders, and we have found the best one, I hope. Councillor Moran.
Yeah, it does sound a lot, but it's a combination of a lot of things. And before any solar panels or air source heat pump or external wall insulation is even considered, you've got to get the property insulated, you've got to make sure the windows are all right, that the ventilation's right. So it is a mixture. This isn't the first session we've had of doing this sort of work, and I may be able to find out for Councillor Harrison what the breakdown was, because I'm pretty sure I've got numbers somewhere for the previous session of doing these sort of works was, which outlines how many air source heat pumps, how many lots of new windows, how many external wall. So there's a breakdown there so they can see how it sort of works out, really. Thank you.
Thank you. It's worth remembering that a previous administration at this authority had over £1 million for spending on energy efficiency measures in housing and didn't do it, ended up giving the money back to the government. So we need to crack on with, if we've got 3 years to spend £7.8 million, that's, we need, you're saying it's easy, yeah, very soon we should be seeing differences to people's houses and how warm they are and how much the bills are and so on. So well done to everyone that's been involved in doing this. So the proposal is that we recommend the award of contract to Equins Buildings Limited as put out in the paper. Do we have a seconder? I think we did get a seconder last time. Phil Dilks is seconding. All those in favour? Thank you. Now, that brings us on to items for information, which include the Cabinet Forward Plan. This is a lively document that is for noting only. It shows what we're planning to talk about at Cabinet over the next few months. It could change at a moment's notice in response to the needs and aspirations of our residents. But does anybody have any comment on the current content? Oh, Mr. Wiles.
Just to endorse your comment that it could change at any moment, can I make some changes?
Go ahead.
So the 8th of July, which I think is now, is that the 13th of July? It is the 8th of July. The customer experience strategy is more than likely now to come to your September meeting, and the provisional outturn is more than likely to come to your September meeting, purely and simply because we want to run it through the scrutiny process at the Finance Committee at their July meeting. So the sequencing would work better if we came to September for the outturn.
Does anybody want to squabble with that? No? Please amend the plan accordingly. Thank you. Any more? If not, then we will note this plan and move on to the last item on the agenda, open questions from councillors. We have 4 councillors. Do any of you have any questions that you wish to ask at this stage? Councillor Stewart.
Thank you, Chair. I'll stand up. I've got a question. It comes from one of our residents in the Belmont ward. A situation has been going on within the industrial estate with alarms going off early hours of the morning. They have complained on several occasions to SKDC and through the Environment Department, and several residents feel it's fallen on deaf ears. Could I please ask that maybe somebody could have a chat with me after this meeting to go through exactly what's going on, because we're getting alarms going off at 3 a.m. in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning. The email that I have here from one of the residents says, the noise is consistent of banging, crashing, reversing horns, Grantley cranes, beeping, etc. every morning at 7 a.m. alarms going off. I assume the times they are supposed to start work by have been going on for several hours by the time. They're obviously finishing work a lot earlier. Now, I have explained to the residents, yes, we live in an industrial estate area, so this is expected. But I am aware, maybe a year or so ago, somebody from SKDC had a word with the council, with the factory named. I'm not going to name that in this meeting today because that'd be unfair to the business, as they can't be here to answer the question. That they needed to pipe down a bit, so to speak, and apparently it did happen for a while, but now they seem to be back up doing what they're doing. I can't say I've heard it because I only live around the corner, but then I am a heavy sleeper, so you know, I haven't heard it. But if somebody could really look into this, I'd be much appreciated. And as I said, I have made the residents aware we do live in an industrial estate area, so these things are expected, but maybe not 3 a.m. in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock maybe so, because that's where we'll start work. But yeah, if somebody could really have a look into it, I'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. That's absolutely no problem. I will ask the officer responsible for environmental health and environmental protection to investigate it. If it's a one-off alarm at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's very unlikely. If it's something regular, then I would guess that there's an issue with either the alarm or the alarm company. So, yeah, we can have conversations. In the meantime, it would be helpful, though probably annoying for the residents, to keep a diary of when and where, because if we were to take enforcement action, we would need actual detail. But having been in a key holder for an alarm around the corner from me in the past, if it's going off on a regular basis, then the provider of the alarm system needs to be involved and find a way to make the alarm less sensitive. But we don't need to go into the details here. I will definitely pass it on to the relevant officer. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And just to confirm, I have informed the residents to make diary logs of this, which they are going to be doing again anyway, so appreciate it.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chair. My question's going on about Standards Committee and the running of the Standards Committee and how hearings are held. If we look in our constitution, my hearings from start to finish took over a year. And according to our constitution, they should be dealt with within 3 months, unless there's a special reason. So I would ask that the Cabinet look into this and look into why they took so long. I'm not happy with the reasons I was told, that we farmed them out, because that's also included in our constitution, that if we farm them out to an outside body, they should still be dealt with within that 3 months. And now we've currently got a crop of code of conduct complaints that are out, and we're not getting a response on that either, because again they've been farmed out to the same Wilkins Chapman. So when can we expect to get the results of that, please?
Right, so as you know, this is not an issue that I am directly directing. This isn't the leader's responsibility to either administer or decide on code of conduct complaints. I understand and I share your frustration. I will speak to the head of paid service and the monitoring officer and or the deputy monitoring officer about the outstanding issues. I do know that they are being reviewed, and it will be it is a priority to look into those which are outstanding, because we don't want any to be just left in the weeds. I don't know whether or not there are legitimate reasons why they are outstanding for so long. I also would ask that this question is bounced on to the Chair of the Standards Committee, who I'm sure will be very concerned if there are ways to make the process better.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it is important, because this last crop of code of conducts were from members of the public, so we're letting them down massively. Okay, we can probably get away with it when it's councillor against councillor a little bit, but when we're letting the members of the public down, I feel we should be finding an answer for them.
I will discuss it with the Chief Executive when she returns from wherever she's gone to, which will be very soon. I think she's coming back on Thursday, is she not? Yeah, Thursday, yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Any further questions? If not, then I will thank you for your attendance. There is no other business, and I'll bang my gavel and wish you a safe journey home. Thank you.